Hello, this is Bug News, and today we're going to talk about the black love triangle of Chris Samuels, Monique, and Jason Weems and his wife. But primarily, we're just going to really focus in on Chris Samuels and Monique's relationship. Strangely enough, a lot of people don't realize that maybe if it wasn't for Chris Samuels, there would be no Monique fame. I mean, there'd be a Monique, but there wouldn't be any Monique fame. She would be somewhere else in the world. I think she was like a real estate examiner or something like that. She'd be doing that. She'd probably be a successful realtor. I can't imagine her being on Real Housewives of Potomac, but who am I say? If it's divine in her cars to be on TV and to gain fame, she would have gained fame without Chris. But the reality of the fact is, if it wasn't for her being married to an NFL player, she wouldn't have met certain people. And then when Monique admitted her first came to, I think I talked about this in another video, but when Monique first came to, she said out herself when she first came to DC that she was homeless. And well, I'm gonna say she was homeless. She ended up homeless allegedly. Somehow she met Chris or whatever. I think Chris was trying to do at that time, everybody during that time with the early 2000s or late 90s, everybody trying to start a record label. He had money. He had dreams too. I mean, he made it in football, and he did admit during his retirement that he did blow through some money, and then a lot of people don't realize because he was a footballer, he was a left tackle, so left tackles usually get paid pretty well, but he did admit to it blows through some of his money, but then at some point he took a lot of the money, his bonus money, and then he put it into bonds or something like that, and he just let it sit. He just listed off his annual salary, which is still pretty high. So that's why he still has his money today, as some of his teammates don't, that we know of, like Clinton Portis and some others. But so and she has a book coming out, and then she admitted that she met Chris on various interviews, and he said, he wanted to invest in a career, but, he's probably hitting on her. Now, on a side note, if we look at, Chris has a type, it appears, but we'll say that for another video. But, so Monique's going around, around the bus over Chris, but no one has asked her, yeah, that's cool, Monique, I feel sorry that he had some domestic issues, but do you think you would be in this position if you never married Chris? Or is that a fair question to ask? If you never married him, would they have looked at you? And things like that. Or even if you just wasn't involved in him, would you be where you are now? And I guess that's what's probably Chris's thinking. But it happened. So he probably, but Chris kind of did the right thing, in my opinion. He played football. He waited to the end of his career, and then he said, I'm going to settle down and have a family. Because the one man ain't going to want you no more if you ain't in the league. So somebody was giving him great advice during that time. So now, no one has asked her that question. I'm not saying she's not capable of, like I said, making it, but we gotta ask that question. So, and she has a right to leave. She said she allegedly didn't receive anything, but what Chris did wrong, he did everything right. The prenup, he generously gave her money, but the one thing he did wrong, and maybe he didn't have the same manager, was he should have gave her more money. Allegedly gave her $200,000. He should have gave her like $2 million. Here, sign this. You ain't gonna write no book. You ain't gonna even talk about being in this capacity. Boom. The movie need to be having this conversation. And if we look at the strategy, why why do people go on these platforms? They need the platform to promote other stuff. So Monique came on the platform. That entertainment industry said, we're going to get you on the platform, and we know you want to write this book. So somebody on Monique's side giving her, we can get this book, blah, blah, blah. And that can generate revenue for you in the scheme of things. And it's a machine gun. No one else has had this type of press. She's been on whoever her PR person is doing a good job. She's everywhere. I'd be surprised she'd be on Club Shay Shay in January. She's everywhere, right? So it's just a matter. And he ain't respond. He hasn't said nothing. So something, I'll be as soon as I was, damn, she on there too. I'd have had some type of response. I would have said something in that aspect, but he hasn't said anything. Now, he's not concerned. Yeah. Now, moving along. Now, the other question we need to ask is, so Jason, who was married to a community activist, social influencer, mentor, marketing executive genius, socialite, successful black woman. If you look at her resume, it's like a going to black woman utopia dream. She went to black college. She came to sorority. She graduated. I think she probably got a master's. She's in a social network of people who are on the radio. She's in a social network of politicians. She's in a social network of celebrities and people of influence or power. She's really, all this stuff, but she's really best known for running a magazine or being a marketing person in Baltimore for the Baltimore magazine or something like that. And I think she brought that shit out of the dirt back, because it's hard to be a magazine these days out of the dirt and it was profitable or whatever, because I think she's like a marketing person. But and she does a book, but in everyone's armor there's a flaw. And the only flaw we found is that she did have some type of judgment. She paid it off for $4,000 about 4 or 5 years ago, maybe, which is about the time that these two probably was having problems. So is there some financial problems going on here? The women's going around, and actually, you know what? I think we made some commentary about this, and some of them radio people, I ain't gonna name no names, but they blocked me on IG, so maybe they had something I went through, I missed, and they blocked me. But it happens. But they didn't block me on the other sites, but for some reason they blocked me on IG. Not her, but someone else. But anyway, so she was there some type of financial issues, and it's caused everything. But think about it. Okay, so he didn't leave; he was still there. It'd been too expensive for him. 3 kids, they was married in that city, and it'd been too bad. It'd been, and I ain't seen him doing no tour, so I don't even know. Well, I haven't seen him doing any tours. That's the best I can say it. But the question with that is, so y'all messed around, whoop-de-whoop. You was broken up, you was dating, but why'd you stop dating him? So video is 2 years old. People break up. What? Jason needed a couple of dollars. You was driving Jason. Jason wasn't driving you in the video, which is kind of weird. So let's say Chris said he was going to put out the video, and she probably said, "Oh, okay, you gonna put out the video?" They talk to people. You can write a book. And guys, his ego. Oh, and if what she said is true, what we see is not who he really is. Boom. It's like it's Kim. It's like Kim and Kanye again in the public. But she and Jason broke up, and nobody heard from Jason. He ain't even saying nothing. So the wife published as things. People, the internet, they kept doing it, and then Baltimore's a small city, or you in these professional spaces, and people looking at you, and some people, is everything okay? I think her name is Dion. Dion, is everything okay? You probably get tired of hearing that, right? And everything's okay. Why you ask me that? Well, I've been hearing things. I just wanted to know, if you ever need anything, I'm here for you. So she's got to deal with that. But she posted on me, she said, it's a private matter, and then now it's public. Basically, I'm just paraphrasing. But Jason ain't said, to my best of my knowledge, Jason ain't said nothing. I guess he got somebody got to pick up the kids. Like I said, that he got 3 kids, and so child support, in Maryland, it ain't pretty. But Trump changed the law, and he said in 2016, you get to write off the child support, and you get to claim on your taxes. So hey, but is that a trap? Some sound so good, but then it's a trap. Yeah, I got a way we can get everybody to pay and get all the information, But anyway, you do want to pay your child support. You don't want to take your kids, but it's a trap. So is but we ain't hearing nothing from Jason either. So we ain't hearing nothing from Chris. We ain't hearing nothing from Jason. His wife, the 2 women say anything, and they make it so bad. If you look at Monique and you look at Jason's wife, they're the same type. Maybe some flesh and different, but they're the same build, same hairstyle, same swagger. Now, if Jason would have left his wife and got a heftier chick or the chick from a different group, I wouldn't have said nothing. But if you move out and pick the same type, goddamn, and he said he was still living there, based on what Monique said. But I guess you have to wait till the divorce is final, so people still living there or whatever. But the same type. Literally, in my opinion, they're the same type of woman. Now, Monique got in my opinion, Monique got her fame and rise and success through the connection to Chris Samuels. But Dion went to school, got educated, got a job, network, sorority while probably in school, and her fame came up by her bootstraps. I don't know too much about Jason. He's a comedian, and then they make it so bad they kind of joined by the hip, because I think they promoted some they promoted some Tubi movies together. They being, I think her name is Dion and Jason. The Williams, or however you pronounce that. But so they kind of joined in the business market too. But we can't explain this $4,000 that was a judgment against them, or not them, her, which is even stranger, at the peak of her success. Now she paid it off, but it was going on for a while, so I don't know. It was only $4,000. If you marketing director at a successful publication, and you're doing these Tubi movies, and Jason, doing comedies, known. He's on the radio, but radio pays, but if it doesn't pay, you make the money on the back end. The parents' fees and stuff like that. I don't see why $4,000 was a problem, but maybe the kids in a private school, and horseback riding and all this stuff, but who knows? I mean, I don't know. But we do know only two people talking, and it's the women. The men sitting back. I ain't really got too much to say, I'm just waiting for it to blow. It ain't gonna blow. The book about to come out. Somebody gotta say something, and then lo and behold, if Jason Weems' wife comes out with a book, she ain't gonna. She's a press genius, and she networked at home. The sister's just gonna wrap it up. Oh, that's just so sad. That's just so sad. I mean, I don't know why. What's wrong with these black men? That's probably what they're gonna say. But only other story that's related to a Baltimore story. Further ground, kind of a similar situation, right? Kinda the same variables. So we're just gonna say for the ground, Atavia and her husband, they were in the same band, but he knew all the business, and I guess Natavia, he was hitting them corners, right? But anyway, but Natavia got a cult following that's like loyal. And when they found out that dude was messing with some chick in Atlanta, who said she was gonna sue me, but some chick in Atlanta, and left Natalia for this radio lady, it wasn't too pretty. And Natalia was walking around, did it for a while. She alright now, but I'm pretty sure she was getting the same thing. Are you alright? But see, it wasn't, nobody was talking about it, and nobody was, social media. It wasn't. It was, the other person was down in Atlanta, so it wasn't really the same light on it. Whereas in this case, you got a national name. You got Sherrod's World was the first one to kind of plant some light on it. But we're gonna go into that in the Cookie Connection in another video. But and as soon as she pointed light on it, people look, oh, okay, that's what happened. Oh, okay, okay. So then when people started to drop, boom, what happened? And then also the timing with everything was it's just kind of weird. Like I said, something might be planned out, but the timing with her appearing on Real Housewives, coming back, saying that she really doesn't have any money. And then if you look at when Sherelle did her video, she pointed out that she didn't have any money. That's why she was back on the show. But it kind of fits into the storyline of what Monique says, that Chris can have other people do his work for him, allegedly, but it fits the storyline perfectly. Boom. Oh, okay. Damn, she still ain't listening. Yo, C, I need you to call your friend up. The one out in Vegas. And, I just need you to put a little work in. I hit you on the back end. All right, later. So, that's how they got. Then the video, in fact, the video, then the video came out, right? I'm just saying. So then the video came out, and when you first see the video, it didn't really get no buzz because people were like, well, is that AI? That's what people thinking, right? At first. Then I guess maybe something else is going to happen, and then that's when she started to come out. She started this media tour in the book. So I'm thinking, and then after she did that, that's when I think his name was Dion or Diana. That's when she gave her statement. So something else was going to happen, and then this was her counter move. So whoever gave Monique the advice to write that book slowed the machine down for going on the show. Whoever, I don't know who it was, or was that the backdoor plan, or that's why she back on the show. But whoever gave us that advice, just like in the beginning when whoever was giving Chris management advice, they had him on point. But like I said, when the divorce came, he might have been stuck on that prenup, but we're in modern times, or times have changed, let's say. You gotta have the other clause in the NDA. Now you can't say nothing. Take this $2 million and shut up. But now she can be talking. Now she got a whole speaking thing. She can go around and talk about domestic life. You know what I mean? She can go around talking about surviving marriage. He just gave her a whole at least 3-4 years. I bet she'd be down to Essence. I bet you she'd be right there on stage. Oh, this, and you know they're gonna say, oh, that's so sad that happened to you. But don't be surprised if Dion ain't down in Essence with her book. and anyway, people saying the same thing. So we got, best thing. Maybe Jason can drive for Chris and tell him jokes. I don't know, because those the only two ain't saying nothing. Those are somebody need to say something on their side, but Chris ain't saying nothing. And she said she lost friends. So what that means is the circles that she were in, she ain't in no more. That means maybe when she was just thinking about writing the book, it was like, yeah, really, I can't co-sign that. I'm riding with Chris on this one. Circle she was in, the social network, stuff like that. And like I said, if you look at Cookie's life, it's just all clear of the social networks, who's connected. I mean, from a local, because it's hard to, it's actually kind of hard to see if you're not from the DMV area. And when I mean, let's say, and when I say DMV, DC, Maryland, Virginia, even Baltimore. But this Mid-East, it's hard to see. If you're not, from this Mid-East, kind of like, but if you are, you're like, oh, I didn't know Cookie knew all them people. I didn't know Cookie knew her, him. Oh, wow. This is, oh, snap. It's like, how deep does the rabbit hole go? So, but those facts kind of line her story up to make it not exaggerated. So this is just a little discussion. This is Bug News. Please like, share, and subscribe. Thank you very much.